सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ओम शांति शांति शांति। सदाशिव समारंभां शंकराचार्य मध्यमां अस्मदाचार्य पर्यन्तां वंदे गुरु परंपराम्। Okay, Shikaji, I think you were asked Ekatvam and Mayavadin, whether these are two different things, right?
Yes, are they two different things, and what exactly is Mayavad?
Okay, fine. See, there are many people, who say that Shankaracharya was the one who introduced the concept of Maya. That is totally wrong. If you ask me, I have not, gone through that kind of an in-depth, one-to-one discussion, the way sannyasis are initiated, and because they spend so many years learning from so many people, getting into Tarka, Mimamsa and all. So, if you ask me, all the knowledge which comes to me comes only from Swami Dayananda Saraswati, Swami Paramarthananda, and my father. So who taught me this? So all that I bank on as a first-hand information is only from these three sources, and it's only my Shraddha, and also the fact that using their guidance, I could crack this issue of samsara. So from that, whatever I know from what they've taught, in fact, I may not be knowing everything of what they've taught, because once I crack, then it doesn't make any difference what you know, what you do not know. But I do know little things about these, what you can say, questions and perspectives given by many. What I understand is broadly, many hold that Shankaracharya was the one who started this Mayavada. See, there were many critics to the work of Shankaracharya, because his brilliance was so much that people were taken aback, and there was a shock actually, at least on those people who were holding on to non-Advaita traditions.
Okay.
So at least in them, there was definitely a shock, because there was a constant effort by those systems to propitiate those ideas. Whether it is Shunyavada, whether it is Dvaita, or whether it is Vishishtadvaita, all those, wherever these theologies were being brought in, they had a conscious effort to teach to people, and it was like, gathering people to that system was the kind of prevalent norm at one point in time. So, obviously there were so many people who were looking at the work of Shankaracharya, and those who were affiliated, not logically, aligned, affiliated, they had to obviously bring in arguments against the work of Shankaracharya.
Mm-hmm.
So those were some of the reasons as well, due to which many things were alleged. One of the thing was that this entire concept of Maya was a creative work of Shankaracharya. Was a mention? No, that's not the case. Maya, as a concept, is in Vedanta itself, in Vedas itself.
Okay.
In fact, sometime back when I was trying to do some homework, to keep these references ready when someone asks, I do have some, but I need to work on some of them. But one simple thing you can see is even from Purana, when Lord Krishna was about to be born, okay, just before he was born, I think at that time there were two kids who were born. Okay. The first one was a girl child
Maya.
That was Parvati, and it was, I think the name was given very clearly as Maya.
Maya, yes.
It was very clearly given. Okay. After that only, Lord Krishna was born. So, in terms of the number of kids, I think they did one in between. Actually, they lost the count as well somewhere. Kamsasura, he was foxed actually a little bit. So, that one was Maya. So, even in Purana, we see this name of Maya, and it's very clear Parvati is Maya, Parameshwara is seen as Parabrahman. So Parameshwara is Parabrahman and Parvati is Maya. Parabrahman plus Maya only creates Jagat. That's the only way Jagat comes in. This is the reason Ardhanarishwara is a concept that is depicted. Shiva is Bhudato. And Shakti is Karoti Kurutaha Kurute, action. So Shiva is existence. Only when existence is established can action be a possibility. So when existence is there, then action becomes a possibility, and existence plus action is Jagat.
Okay.
So Atma and Anatma Sambandha kind of is indicated there itself. Maya is not Anatma, it is finally Brahmashraya. So Maya is the primordial cause, it is said, and Maya is as close to Brahman to an extent that it is Brahman. Maya is called Brahmashraya. So that's where Triguna starts. So, from an understanding perspective, from a logic perspective, as I said last time, logic is never final. Logic is used only to kill wrong logic. So, mind will have all these questions. And if one says that, Brahman is Nirgunam, there is no guna in it, it doesn't do any transaction. From that, Maya happens, which has all these guna. So one can probably, not understand it. It's like saying that a 20 rupee note is on my right hand, and this came out of my wallet. So people will immediately think this 20 rupees was inside, and it was 20 rupees only, not 10 rupees. So all this doubt will start coming in actually. So in that case, we cannot say that the purse never had 20 rupees. Purse had this 20 rupees, and 20 rupees means guna. So Brahman has guna, or it had guna. So all this doubt will come. So to solve these doubts, that certain logic has to be given. That's how logic is given. But ultimate thing is that Brahman is that in which none of these things exist, and Brahman is that in which everything that is possible exists. So this takes us back to those lines, you are in me, I'm not in you. And I'm not in you, you are in me. You are not in me, I am in you. Any statement you make will make sense, finally. Right? So, Brahman is that which is definitely a vastu in the sense, yes, ek cheez hai, aise bolte na, it is something like that. Yes, it is definitely a vastu, but not a vastu which is an object of mind. It is the only vastu. There is no other vastu actually. So, that is the only vastu. So, vastu siddhir vicharena. So, that vastu is the same thing. And when we say Sarva Vedanta Siddhanta Gocharam, Tam Agocharam. This is the invocation verse in Vivekachudhamani, which we are seeing now. Sarva Vedanta Siddhanta Gocharam. That which is available as a tangible object to Vedanta and Siddhanta. How? Through Vichara. Tam Agocharam. But otherwise, that which is intangible, not available as an object to mind.
Yes.
Tam agocharam, govindam paramanandam sadgurum ranatosmiham. This is what is said there. So, Brahman, which is the ultimate cause. Again, the word cause is used only to satisfy mind. Kaise aaya? Kaise aaye? For all this cause and effect relationship has to be told. These words are inevitable. They have to be used to satisfy the logical question raised by mind. That's the reason cause has to be said. Otherwise, if there is only one thing and second thing doesn't exist, there is no cause and there is no effect actually. Second thing actually does not exist. Second thing exists only because mind understands it and mind perceives that way. And it brings us to a nice word, which I also consciously learned yesterday, which comes in this next verse in 73. Pratiti is perception. So many a times we would have heard this name Pratiti for many women. So this Pratiti means perception. So mind keeps perceiving things. Obviously, it takes things to be real. But what is reality? Reality is that there is only one entity. That one entity just exists. What is its nature? Again, why should we say what is its nature? Because mind has to keep comparing now. That's the reason we have to say what is its nature. If there is only one thing, nature, what is the big deal? In one thing, you will never have any word extra. Entire encyclopedia is subsumed in one thing. That's all. After that, no word exists actually after that. Now, if we have to say how does that look? And how does that behave? What is the nature of that? Again, it is for Manaha, because Mana has certain conclusions based on whatever reason, Prakriti, Maya, whatever reason, and that has to be, those conclusions have to be removed. This is the reason this has to be told to Manas. Otherwise, no word makes sense. No word can actually explain Brahman because it is just only one thing. Fine. If there is only one thing, then what is the then how is that one who's supposed to get that? And do we ever have a chance? Yes, we do have a chance. That's what Shruti says, and that's the understanding when one realizes we happen to be that. That's the only chance. That's the only truth as well. This is the reason this entire pursuit has a kind of conclusion. In fact, which was the beginning as well. That was the same state before. And it has a conclusion that ignorance and wrong notions go away. However, they are all available to us for our enjoyment and we can give credence to it. After Vedanta class, after one realizes, for example, today if people crack that, fine, I know I am Brahman, Tattvamasi, Aham Brahmasmi, done. But after this class, you can still have a sip of tea, enjoy it. Nothing wrong in it. That's possible because that's a possibility within the totality. In universal set, everything is a subset. Anything and everything is a subset. So this is how it works. So that which is Brahman is ultimate, and to a mind which is coming to the session for understanding what is Jagat, there has to be a Karana which has to be mentioned. If that link is not created, mind has no way of understanding anything. It is like a ladder where you have the first step, second step, third step, fourth step, fifth step. Supposing someone is coming in, okay, if they can, jump the steps like Vamanavatara, then I can give them a ladder which is, only the first step and the 50th step. I can give that. Okay, that's possible. But that's not possible everywhere. So mind has to be given certain steps where it can logically relax. It is like, a landing. Whenever we go up the stairs, we always have a landing and then the next stair starts. It's never like, one straight stairs like ladder actually whenever we get into this, whenever we scale a building. So mind needs landing at every place, even in an intangible work like a mental activity. You need certain place where you relax. Oh, fine. So I am settling down with this concept. I am settling down with this logic. This is required actually. Otherwise, mind will be only left in lurch. If mind were to be given one concept and then the 50th concept, mind will say, boss, kuch samajh mein nahi aa raha, let me stop now. That's why, because mind has to be given all the things, the steps are already there. If you ask me, steps make no meaning from an ultimate perspective. Brahman does not need Maya to know himself. No way. Brahman does not need Maya to know himself. This is a statement. Now, okay, what is happening? Student comes, Student is told, you are not any of this thing what you take yourself to be. Jagat is not there. You are that ultimate Atma, which is beyond everything. Okay, then where is the cause you said? That is you. Tattvamasi. Wow. So that's the model we are seeing. Brahmasmi. But now, Brahma needs Maya in a way to understand Brahman. So that statement again, someone can make it this way. Oh, this is contradicting. It is not contradicting. It is only that in between there is a time pass. In between there is a time pass. The time pass, once you maneuver, critical thing what is happening there, which one has to understand is, the identity switch is happening. That's what is the important thing that people should not miss. If I take myself to be Obama and then think that, oh God, these Middle East guys will be after my life. Okay? Due to whatever reason, I have taken myself to be Obama. Whenever I see into my, into mirror, I think I am Barack Obama. And obviously, if I take myself to be that, I will have all the problem linked to that particular character. So I'll be worried about Osama bin Laden, I'll be worried about this, I'll be worried about that, everything I'll be worried about actually. But if I was not actually that character whom I am wrongly taking myself to be, and I'm told that, no, boss, you are Bhaskar and you are a chartered accountant, don't forget that, and this is what you are, and then you have all the possibility, there's no one after you, at least. Of course, there are some people after you to learn something. Not anything beyond. That's not a big deal. So if I know that, actually what's happening is, an identity switch is happening completely. So all those limitations which were there related to my wrong understanding have straight away been dropped. It's not even gradual. Upon the identity switch, it is just a switch. It's so nice, switch is a nice word actually. It's either on, off, never in between. Not regulated like 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, clarity is regulated like this fan, 1, 2, 3, 4, or even the electronic regulator where you can exactly do everywhere. It's fine. But knowledge versus ignorance, it is switch on, off. On, whatever you can take out to be knowledge on, off, ignorance on. So you can say like that actually. It is just a digital thing actually. When you know, you know. There is no other chance in between actually. There is no shades of knowing. Swamiji uses very nice words actually, to say some of these things. Beautifully he uses some of these words. Swami Dayananda Saraswati. He says that knowledge is instant, but clarity can be gradual. That's where I was saying about this, 50 steps in the ladder. These are all ladders where, steps where we dwell and settle. And once you settle, then, Maya knows that, okay, now that the gentleman is settled, now let us shake that logic now and take him to the next level. So that logic is shaken. You come back to the next one now. That logic is shaken. Come to the next one now. Finally, all thoughts are shaken. All thoughts which hold a person to his idea that he is alpaha. He is limited. And world is quite large. And he is different from the world. And he is different from the cause. All those notions which build that particular conclusion are touched, poked, removed. That's what is simply happening actually. So all this, when something can come about from something which can never change, automatically all those ingredients which will have to undo this will be born at the same time. Example, when Samudra Manthan was done, even before Amrita came, Vish came first. So they wanted Amrita. One has to understand that from somewhere something has to come. They will come in pair of opposites only. This is what I was talking about, plus A and minus A. They have to be nullifying impact. So it is not that they just wanted one thing and they just got that. No. When things came out, it came out as Amrita and Visha as well. And that was to be dealt with. And that could be dealt with only by Ishvara. Because everything comes from him. So he can deal with that. And again over there, just see an amazing thing. When Guna happens, Maya is the boss. Maya is the boss when Guna happens actually. So Parvati ji had to stop it at a particular place so that, there was no damage. But then it is more like a depiction. It is not to be taken that, otherwise Parmeshwara would have died. No. He is existent, so he cannot die. So these are all depictions. Actually, people will have to understand this. So when something has to come out of nothing, they have to come out only in the pair of opposites. Only then they will resolve. Not because they have to resolve that they come out in this, pair of opposites. That's how nature works. That's how nature works. So whenever you have an action, you will, that's why, that's what I said. Whenever you have an action, you will have equal and opposite reaction. And was it created by Newton? No. It was there, he just perceived it. Prakriti is there, Prakriti has been always there. We can only understand it, we can say. And our system goes directly to the cause of Prakriti, where it says the immediate cause of Prakriti is Maya, and Maya's ultimate cause is Brahma, Brahman, and that's where in that Nirguna, this abides. So this is how it is presented by Shastra itself, not a handiwork or discovery of creativity of any of the acharyas. It is from there only. So those who have been fortunate enough and those who do not want to propitiate their own ideas, who want to only say what is true, will be doing that job. But if while learning Vedanta, if I have understood something in a very different way, but that is opposed to what is really the fact, and if I hold on to that fancy and then start a class saying now this is a hybrid Vedanta, that is a disservice to the society. And many a times Maya being Maya, it will encourage a person to take up that hybrid Vedanta and say that it is somewhere in between. It is not exactly you are not exactly Brahman, you are Brahman minus something, minus point something, and that person will be able to convince also very easily, because he is someone who's given that what you can say, he's bestowed with that ability of creating better logic. See, in a room of 100 people, the best one who has the logic will survive, right? And if you add one person who's outside the room who has even better logic, then that room will not survive. Whatever is being taught will not survive actually. So basically logic is only that much. And there is never a best logic anytime actually. In Maya, every possibility is there. As I said last time, two opposites. Something is better than nothing. Little knowledge is dangerous. These will survive only when these sessions are taken separately. Together they will nullify. It won't work at all. Yes. So one will cancel the other thing. So basically, Maya is something which is a model used in Vedas, in our Shastra itself. That's why Puranas, lot of these Puranas basically, they are also from the same source only. They have depicted all this in terms of characters as well. Of course, they all have happened. And you find the names there itself actually. And none of these things have incoherence. They're all coherent. And I'll come back to the second point and then I'll introduce one more concept. The second point is Ekavadin, you are saying?
Yes.
Okay, in your understanding, how is that different from that Mayavadin? I just want to understand and then I can answer.
What I understand with Ekeshwarvad is, or Aikya, is that everything ultimately is one. We are all part of that one. Okay, and Maya also is a part of that one. So that is what I understand from Aikya. When we say Aikya, this is, or Ekeshwarvad, there is only one God, if we call that God or energy, whatever. But it is depicted in many places that Mayavadis are different because they talk of Maya, they talk of something which is different from God, and so they are talking of another concept. That is how. That is where the confusion came in. So is Ekeshwarvad and Mayavad the same? That is what I wanted to know. That conceptually.
Understood. So they are one and the same. And if someone is saying Maya is a different concept, not at all. When someone says Maya, it's very clearly also mentioned in the same Shastra. It is Brahmashraya. Maya is dependent on Brahman. Brahmashraya. It comes from Brahman only. Brahman, in fact, even in Sankhya philosophy, it comes. Brahman plus Maya is space. It comes actually. Even in Taittiriya Upanishad also this comes. So the way space comes, and from there, air, fire, water, earth. So it's mentioned the way it comes actually. So Maya is a concept mentioned in Shastra itself actually.
Yes.
It is not independently created later. It's not an appendix. It's a part of it only.
Yeah, this is what my next question was going to be, that Sankhya, it is interpreted by some people that Sankhya does not talk about Ishwar, so it is Anishwarvadi. Because it talks about Prakriti and Maya, so it does not talk about Ishwar.
No. This is where I said no. Each one, what they learn, to their limited knowledge, they propitiate. When they propitiate, it becomes a problem. Okay. Especially for people who are not initiated and who have not gone through the totality of everything. This is where I admitted right at the beginning, right. The level to which our gurus have learned, where they have learned every system, including maybe Islamism, including Christianity, every theology they would have studied, threadbare, they can exactly compare where all. What I know is, since I was also interested, I know the crux of the differences everywhere. And I was quite happy with those differences, and I was quite convinced. I didn't even have to go and study everything actually.
Right.
So, in the case of Sankhya also, from what I know, from what I have learned from Swamiji's, they talk about Prakriti and Purusha. They may not be using the word Ishvara. Purusha is Ishvara. So, Prakriti and Purusha is Atma, Prakriti is Anatma. That's all. They are also talking about Atma and Anatma only. So it is not that they didn't bring in Ishvara as a concept at all. They may not have used the word Ishvara, but Purusha is Ishvara.
Okay.
So if you see, in Suktam, in Shastra only, there is something called Purusha Suktam. So Purusha is in that case, Lord Vishnu is depicted as the totality.
Okay.
So there is something called Purusha Suktam. So it starts this way, Sahasra Shirsha Purushaka. Sahasra Shirsha Purushaka. So the one which 1,000 heads, basically what it means is that every head is him only. That's what it means actually. Sahasraksha Sahasrapat. So many eyes, so many feet. So that's how it is mentioned. So Sarvam Khalvidam Brahmasi, if it has to be told, that's one way of saying Sahasra Shirsha Purushaka. That Brahman which is with so many eyes, so many hands, legs, heads, is one of the ways of depicting it. So it says, so the word Purusha is mentioned there in terms of totality. It is brought in there as well actually. So Purusha is equal to you can say Brahman. Many a times is also equated to Ishvara. So one has to understand that when Shankaracharya is using the name Ishvara, he is using that in the sense of Jagat Karana. So Ishvara creating the world. Basically, so interchangeably some of these words are used. So one main thing is that we are talking about a concept which is one. By whatever name you call it, you can call it X, you can call it Y, you can call it Z, whatever you want to call it. There's one thing which we are talking about, and that is not other than oneself. That is oneself in totality.
Okay.
So all that is what is happening.
Okay.
Bhaskar-ji.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
I haven't read much about it. I just have very cursory thing about it. I think Ekeshwarvad is monotheism. Literal meaning of Ekeshwarvad, Ek Ishwar. But they talk about Ishwar. It can be, people say that Hinduism is a polytheism. हम अनेक ईश्वरों को देवी देवताओं को मानते हैं. जितने भी अब्राहमिक रिलीजन्स हैं, इस्लाम है या क्रिश्चियनिटी है, वो एक ही ईश्वर को मानते हैं. लेकिन उनका ईश्वर इज विद गुणा, कैरेक्टर. ऐसे ही हिंदू में भी जब हम से फॉर एग्जाम्पल हम सांख्य की बात करते हैं, तो सांख्य तो पुरुष और प्रकृति की बात कर रहे हैं. उसने किसी उस पुरुष में, अब हम विष्णु जी को ले रहे हैं या जिस भी ईश्वर को हम मानते हैं, तो हिंदुइज्म में भी हम जो ईश्वर को मानते हैं, जो सगुण ईश्वर को मानते हैं, उनमें कुछ लोग हैं जो मानते हैं कि एक ही ईश्वर, मतलब एक ही ईश्वर है, साथ पासे जो विष्णु जी हैं, हम जो वैष्णव है, हम कहते हैं ईश्वर एक ही है, वो भगवान विष्णु है, उनसे सब निकले हुए हैं. So that is a polytheism. ऐसे एक और चीज होती है बात करती, which is again very cursory. I've read like hardly anything in it. So जितना मुझे मालूम है, one is अनिकांतवाद. It is I am not wrong. Yeah, this is only अनिकांतवाद. That's a Jainism concept. वो महावीर जैन, not महावीर actually, I would say Jainism, because महावीर ने क्या बोला, I don't know what his people wrote. That is there. They are talking about that reality के बहुत सारे facets हैं. They talk like that. I don't know in depth. Whereas when we come to Vedanta, ultimate thing, which is, I mean, what I as per my thing, there हम बोल रहे हैं कि ब्राह्मण है, which is निर्गुण, मतलब हम उसे डिस्क्राइब ही नहीं कर सकते हैं. और उनसे माया जो है, शक्ति जो है, उस शक्ति के साथ में पूरी सृष्टि की रचना करी गई है, जो इल्यूजरी है, which is anyway a reflection. तो आई थिंक मायावादी वो है जो इस बात को मानते हैं कि हाँ, माया से ये सारा ब्रह्मांड जो है ये रचा गया है. आई थिंक मायावादी आर मोर ऑफ वेदांती, मतलब दे बिलीव कि हाँ, एक ब्रह्मन है एंड देन माया है एंड देन ये बना हुआ है. सो बेसिकली दीज आर नथिंग, दीज आर लाइक डिफरेंट फिलोसफीज बीइंग, एज यू सेड, बाय डिफरेंट गुरुज एज दे हैव अंडरस्टूड. अल्टीमेट अंडरस्टैंडिंग अगर हम देखें तो शंकराचार्य ने जो हमको समरी करके दिया पूरे उपनिषद का, इफ वन हैज टू हैव दैट अपरोक्ष अनुभव, तो वो तो ब्राह्मण का और मतलब ब्राह्मण का ही होना चाहिए. बिकॉज अगर हम लॉजिक भी लगाते हैं, मैं तो कहती हूँ, तो लॉजिक में भी और फीलिंग में भी और वट एवर माया से हम यूज कर सकते हैं टूल्स टू अंडरस्टैंड इट, वो तो ब्राह्मण इज अल्टीमेट. मतलब यू कांट in argument, therefore Shankaracharya would be winning hands down, because they can't be better logic than that. So this is my, whatever small line doing, and I don't have in-depth knowledge, so I will think that I might be wrong also, for all you know.
Anyway, good. Thanks for adding and sharing perspective. I think the question which Shikaji raised was very pertinent. Probably it was in connection with the next line only. But even if it is coincidental, it's going to fit into the next line. We'll go to the verse. So it says, this verse 73 in this book, Ata Pritak Nasti Na Asti Jagat Paramatmanaha. Pritak is separate actually. So Jagat is not separate from Brahman. Ataha, right now, Atah Pritak Nasti Jagat Paramatmanaha. Pritak Pratitihi astu mrisha. Mrisha is, it's an illusion. Pratak is basically separateness. Pratiti is perception. Astu, it exists because of mrisha, guna hivat. Because of guna and illusion, one sees Jagat as separate from Brahman, which is the base actually. It's only because of illusion. That's why that maya or whatever, that ignorance has to be brought in. It appears separate only because of that. Otherwise, Jagat is not at all separate from Brahman. And aropita asti, aropitasya asti. So it is a composition actually. Aropita asti, asya asti, kim arthavatta, adhishthanam abhati tatha brahmena. See, on the superimposed, what kind of reality can actually be given? It cannot be given at all. I mean, my thinking that I am Obama was wrong. After that, if I keep, looking for my suit, which I was wearing and I don't find it in my wardrobe, what kind of, what kind of this one is there actually? I can't look for Michelle Obama. Where is Michelle? I can't look at actually. That's not possible. That will be stupid. So, on the original thing, you have superimposed a wrong thing. After that superimposition, anything you talk about the superimposition is going to be useless. That's the reason the superimposition has to be removed. Original scene as it is, job done. So here it says, Aropitasya asti kim arthavatta. the one which is superimposed, what kind of reality and sense is there actually even to talk about it? How can you even talk about it? It is superimposed. So that's where this snake, rope snake ignorance is given. So when the light is dim, we take a rope to be snake, and we already have so much of fear about snake, and one wants to immediately go away from that. So that's the immediate programmed reaction. Adrenaline flows, come back, step back. Once you step back, see properly, then you understand that, oh, it's not at all a snake, it was a rope. But was that wrong understanding an event earlier? Yes. And all those effects because of the wrong understanding real? Yes. As far as mind is concerned, it was real. But is that the fact that it was snake? No. So, if we superimpose something on reality and keep multiplying so many things on that basis, what kind of reality can be attributed to those queries or those events, apprehensions? When one person knows that, boss, you thigh knee snake, and you saying that now you want me to go and hit it actually. So if this is the case, normally with kids this happens. So if a kid thinks that someone has come and frightened it, and it runs to its parents, mother, basically saying that no, wo bhoot aaya tha, mujhe daraya tha. Now if you have to tell it that boss, bhoot to kuch hota nahi hai, don't worry about it, there's nothing like it. But it is already frightened. It will say, bhai, bhoot to aaya tha, to mujhe to dikha tha, to main kya karu? I'm little worried about it. So in this case, that's where Shruti has to come, and Shruti Mata is always compassionate. Shruti Mata has to adjust. हाँ बेटा, problem नहीं है, ठीक है, मैं इधर थी, तुम बैठो, मैं बाहर जाके उसको भूत को भगा के आ जाती हूँ. So Shruti Mata has to play this role. That's where Maya has to be brought in as a concept. अगर उसको बोलेंगे यार भूत तो है ही नहीं, don't do time pass, get lost, तो बेचारा that will be keeping on upright, he will be worried and afraid all the time, and mother will not be able to support it. But luckily that doesn't happen. If we resort to Shruti Mata has all the compassion. She comes to the level of the person where Ajnana is and gives every step of the ladder to take them to a level where they don't need any ladder at all. This is what Shruti Mata does. So, Shruti Mata, when she does the job, she does it so so nicely that she takes us to the substratum, and then she says, boss, this is the substratum which you are, and you superimpose something else on the substratum, saying you are this body, mind, sense complex on that original thing, and then you are coming and saying that you have a headache. Boss, headache nahi to headache bata raha tum. Headache nahi bol raha hu, tum to headache bata rahe. Kya problem hai? Nonsense hai yaar. The entire thing is, what do you call it? Annamaya. According to me, this entire thing is Annamaya actually. So it is not there at all. Before it was head, it was a plant actually. It was a plant and tree, and it was something else earlier before that. Actually, it was a seed born of plant earlier, and that's where this is coming from. And you are telling me there is a head, and in that there is brain, and you are using that brain to tell me that is very important and real, and the headache is real. So this Maya, you just imagine what kind of hearty love Maya will have actually. Maya knows all these things. That's the beauty. Maya knows all these things. How the hell things came. It is not hell. How the heaven things came. And then how is it going to go back? Maya knows all these things. That's amazing actually. So it has to come and say that boss, जब वो था ही नहीं, तुमने assume करके रखा है. And you are saying that you have a problem, you want me to resolve actually. So, ठीक है, बैठ जाओ एक बार. हाँ, problem, don't worry about it. Now take this Amritanjan, apply it, then you can understand Vedanta. Maya has to first provide Amritanjan. Then only it is looking as though I'm giving some lot of ads actually. So you have to give Amritanjan and then, work upon the ladders actually. So the first ladder is Amritanjan. अब क्या करेंगे? So that's how it works. So here, Maya is begging. Maya is begging. आरोपितस्य अस्ति किमर्थवत्ता? यार जो superimpose किया, what kind of reality is there here? It is not there at all. The entire head, khopdi can be reduced into periodical table. It has got so much of sulfur, so much of sodium, so much of phosphorus, potassium, magnesium, everything, some percentage. All that we have found out, or what we have not found out as well. They are all there in some percentages. So the way we see in every food packet, we see protein so much, this so much, that so much. Everything is reduced to periodic table. Everything. And everything can be reduced to calories. If you want a common denominator, every food, burger to fruit, sattvic to rajasic to tamasic, everything can be reduced to one common denominator, that is calories. In terms of energy. And every energy has matter and antimatter. Similarly, energy and anti-energy, you can call it the opposite. They collide, they come together, done. And once it is done, they are reduced almost to space. And everything can be reduced to space. And that can be swallowed, space and time. And that can be swallowed in Brahman, which is the basic common denominator of everything. This is how this resolution has to happen. So this adhishthanam, what we are talking about, is that Brahman, in which every possibility is there, and us being Indians is one of the possibility. That's all. So all possibilities are there. In that possibility, only we are, looking at all these things. The only beauty is that we are in this satsang. Whosoever is in any satsang and whosoever is into this kind of a mumukshutvam, they are going back to the roots. They are questioning, going back to the roots. What is happening? This time pass is there. We have seen enough time pass. It's okay. No problem. But I do want to understand what is the basis of this time pass. How it is happening. Why this question comes? It comes for whatever reason. One is not intrinsically happy being in this confusion. Because one's nature is to be clear of all confusions. Because Brahman has no confusion in himself. He has no confusion in himself. And that status one definitely wants. That is what is Swarajya. That one wants. And that's an intrinsic requirement. The only thing is, it can vary in degrees in terms of the intensity. When the intensity is, for example, 35%, 40% towards going to the roots, towards going home, chalo manu jaya ghar apne. If you have that kind of an intensity, maybe 30-40%, I'm just putting a percentage, it becomes substantial. There, the mumukshutvam is pronounced. You can say mumukshutvam is from there on. And when that is 90%, 100%, obviously, you have already picked up the right books. You have reached the right person already because the grace brings you there. Because you are already there, you want that. You see this, where vacuum is. Things are all attracted towards that actually, where vacuum is. So vacuum is not inactivity. Vacuum is basically, it is trying to suck everything inside. It's not inactivity. Similarly, when one turns the activity of a pursuit of this samsara away from dharma, artha and kama, then moksha becomes the pursuit. In moksha, it is jnana that is the pursuit. So they suck to such an extent that jnana comes to them. And the one who will deliver jnana will also come to them. And the body of knowledge which will deliver jnana will also come to them because they are sucking it. So black hole, if you call, is that. It just sucks everything inside. Towards what? Towards itself. So basically, all that we are doing is we are going home, back home, to our own nature. And going back, we are not going to feel small because when you go back, you are told you are that everything. So that's the amazing thing, that's what is happening. So this verse says that aropitasya asti kim arthavatta. That which is superimposed on the main thing, the superimposed thing, what kind of reality it can have? Adhishthanam, that base, abhati, it looks like the superimposed. Tatha, Brahmena, it's only because of illusion. It looks that way. So, there is no reality. So, you have a cotton candy, okay, it can be quite fluffy, but just because it looks so big, no one is going to, order a 40-tonner lorry to ferry it because it is so light. It looks like that actually, but it's so light and it's so amazing. And such a voluminous thing had come through a small pellet. And if you see the way it is created, it's so nice actually. He puts a small pellet or some powder kind of a thing inside. As it rolls and rolls and rolls, it becomes a beautiful cotton candy actually. So big. No one can imagine that itna chota se jitna bada ban sakta hai. No one can even imagine. So, adhishtanam abhati tatha brahmena. The basis of that was a small pellet. So in this case, we are saying there is no pellet at all. It's everythingness. Everythingness is the nature. That's the starting point on which smallness is superimposed. The moment you superimpose it, you have all attendant problems. That's where the root cause is. The root cause is because of self-ignorance. Know yourself. Ignorance is gone. Attendant problems are also gone. So Shastra is saying, Adhishtanam abhati tatha brahmena. The original is appearing because of the superimposition, and that superimposed thing becomes a reality to mind, and mind dwells on this. That's how headache is real. So, this is what is happening. That's what verse 73 says. And I will encourage discussion on this. In fact, I didn't even read anything specific, from this actually, but I think I already mentioned everything from the verse. So it's nice to have discussions actually. Please, anyone who want to discuss from any of the verse, please go ahead. Yes, Shikaji. Want to ask something?
Yeah, maybe not related exactly to Vivekachudhamani, but I was reading somewhere that since everything comes from something, so even Brahma, Parabrahma, should have an origin. So, and that origin, some sects call it as some particular deity, some Bhagwan. We may call it Vishnu or Krishna, or we may call that as Shiv. Whatever I believe in, I will call that as the primordial cause, or even of Brahma. That Brahma emanated from there.
Yeah.
I think.
Yes, see, it's very simple. For example, even this Krishna consciousness, they hold on to that idea that Krishna is there. The consciousness is Krishna.
Okay.
There's nothing wrong in saying consciousness is Krishna. Consciousness is Jesus also. Consciousness is Allah also. You can say any name because no name stands there.
Yes.
So you can say any name, no. Because consciousness is not going to, it's not going to hurt you anyway. The least thing it will do is hurt you actually, because it is there all the time. Everything is happening in that. Though nothing is happening, everything is seemingly happening in that only. So everyone has the right to say anything for that matter actually. But it is for one to understand, one wants to know the ultimate, or one wants to settle with something, which is same thing as what we had as a problem earlier. So, for example, I may be happy with a friend who is a wrestler. I'm feeling protected. Okay. So after some time, I understand that these politicians can even overcome these guys actually. Then I am happy that at least I know one guy who is an MLA. Okay, now I am better off. After that, you understand that, okay, in that also you have some rankings actually. There are some goons who can even knock off these guys actually. So actually I was better off earlier. But then anyway, now I have to find a better goon actually. So then I associate with a kind of some names, I don't want to mention those names. Mr. X actually, who can be in Pakistan, wherever, hiding and all. So I, kind of do with him because this guy is able to, maneuver all the, politicians. So I then befriend him, saying to me, that is the Murti, and he's all in all, every guy, powerful guy. Then I understand this guy can be actually, foxed into a meeting and killed by one Mr. So-and-so. That can be done. Then I understand, oh God, that guy who's a raw guy is much more stronger than anyone else. Now I befriend him. Then you finally understand, no, there's one PM who's the boss of everyone else actually. Then you think he's more powerful, you befriend him. So ऐसे करते लोग कहीं पहुंच जाते हैं, and लोग जहां पे फंसते हैं, that becomes the biggest thing for them, and they talk about it the most to everyone else. They propagate it. That's all. It all depends where one settles. If I have stopped traveling in train, I will say that the 20-year-old train, which is running today from Okha to Tuticorin, I will say that's bliss. until I come across, Saurashtra mail, which has much more, facilities and beautiful thing actually when you travel in that. And I will hold on to that until the time I travel in Jan Shatabdi. Wow, this is even amazing, yaar. Ye God to aur acha hai. Vishnu se bhi acha hai, for example. Then you say, you hold on to Vishnu. Until the time you will sell Vishnu all the place actually. Then after that, come to Vande Bharat. Wow, यार ये तो आप पहले से बोल रहे थे शिवा इज द बेस्ट थिंग. ये तो सुना नहीं था, आप लग रहा है बड़ा एकदम बढ़िया है. So Vande Bharat. So like this, Maya can do all these things actually, even when it comes to Lord. And the best thing is they talk about totality. अरे यार totality कैसे एक बंदे को तुम ऐसे रूप दे सकते हो और बोल सकते हो totality. Boss, for my upasana, I want a person to come to my size so I can appreciate him. Only then I can appreciate him. I want to embrace. I mean, many a times, you want to just embrace. I mean, like whether it's your kid, your friend, your mother, whosoever, you are meeting them after a long time, you would love to, embrace. Only when that is not possible, we do a virtual stuff. Okay, Mumbai mein hai ya to kahin aur hai, US mein hai, you have a virtual call and then whatever. In that also, you want to definitely give the sense of kissing. There also. Finally, what cross you want to have it with you. That's what is there. That's what Maya is all about. So, if that is what mind is, if mind has to be given totality, upasana, to begin with the ladders, in terms of the ladders, steps in the ladders, upasana has to be given, a name has to be given. That is how it works. When a person comes to us and say, boss, everything is nirguna, to wo kahan dekhega? Kahan dekhega? So, the moment I say, na bhumir, na toyam, na tejo, na vayu, na khaminendriyam, na tesham samoha, anekantikatva, srishupti ekasiddha tadeko vashishya shivake valoham. So, this guy will run away saying, yaar, kuch to pagal lag raha. This guy will run away. तो उसको तो बुला के ये बोलना पड़ेगा. See, Shankaracharya said that to Govinda Bhagavad Pada, who could understand that. Shankaracharya would have never said that to someone saying, Shankar जी आपको मैं दूध लेके आया तो आप ले लीजिए. तो उनको अगर समझा देते थे वो who was not an अधिकारी, you would have said अगले दिन से दूध देना भी बंद कर देता. तो यार वो सोचा होगा यार कुछ महान सोच के हम आके कुछ दे रहे थे, लेकिन ऐसे बोलेंगे तो क्या करेंगे, लग रहा है कि पास में नहीं जाना. That's what will happen. So it all depends on where one person has stopped his travel.
Okay.
So the last thing I have seen that is that passenger train, yes, that's the best thing, no problem. And the thing is, I am very happy. And since I'm happy, I bring that as well. I'm so convinced I'll bring that, because if a person is also given that ability to communicate, he will communicate and convince everyone. And there will be so many passengers, because passenger train mein वैसे भी लोग ज़्यादा है ना. That's all. Otherwise, nirguna is nirguna. And finally, we can't say, boss, everything is nirguna. And that's the name given is Krishna. अरे यार, nirguna बोल रहे हो, Krishna कहाँ से आ गया? भाई, Krishna means black. और nirguna बोला तो गुना बोल दिया उसमें. So you can't have even sound actually. So that's where I think people choose that body of knowledge which at that point in time appeals to them. Nothing wrong in it. But the fact remains that truth is only one. And if they want truth, they have to go there only. It is not available anywhere else. If one wants to experience Taj, Udaipur, the Lake Palace Udaipur, it's only Lake Palace Udaipur. So I'm not saying this because Shikhaji is from Udaipur. Incidentally. So if that's only one, so you can't say that, somewhere else also you get the same benefit. Now you have this actually. No, one is Sat actually. No, it cannot be any other thing actually. So amongst the philosophies, amongst theologies, which is all there, one has to understand what is the ultimate. The ultimate is when one is Ishvara. But the ultimate is when one is Ishvara. You cannot improve upon it any further. And is it because theoretically it is ultimate that it has to be respected? No. It is said and proven to the person who is understanding beyond any doubt. To the person to whom it is being revealed is revealed beyond any doubt. That person understands it. He is not saying that I like Advaita, so I am an Advaitin. No. He says that I like Advaita because it fetched me myself. That's it. I got myself in Advaita. That's the reason I respect Advaita. Not because I like Shankaracharya. That's the reason I like Advaita. Yes, I had Shraddha to start with. But Shraddha was a necessary ingredient. Luckily, I had that. But my pursuit was moksha, where I want to know what is that Sadvastu. If moksha was that Krishna is the only one, he ever exists and nothing else, exists, so be it. I will understand Krishna. It's okay. But the Dvaita Bhava, being Krishna where what he is, and me being that small thing, if I do not have the real kind of a bhakti or sharanagati, if I'm a little bit in between, I'm going to have a problem. So, the best thing is to not have the head at all to avoid the headache. So, in this case, luckily, it is not a gross head which has to be chopped off. It is only an understanding. Wrong subscription. Oh, subscription ko hata do. Wrong identification. Identification sirf hatana chahiye. It is like, a knifeless surgery. They call it a laser treatment. laser treatment, no poking, nothing, no injection, no cuts, no bleeding. So, in fact, at least usme thoda sa internally kuch hoga. In this, there is no internal bleeding also. The only bleeding is, yes, Maya goes away. To that extent, it's a bleeding, you can say. But otherwise, the ignorance goes away. That is the bleeding, actually, when you poke. But that laser thing, the treatment is jnana. That Agni is jnana Agni. So, this jnana Agni removes that ignorance. That's where you obtain yourself. You are not obtaining second thing. That's the reason the word Advaita has to be always spoken. That's the reason the word coining is also has come from Shastra only. Advaita, Advitiya. No second thing exists. So in that case, the Bhakta itself is not there. So where is there a person to say that Krishna is the only one, or Mahadev is the only one, or Brahmaji pata chala, somehow for whatever reason, Shastra itself has knocked him off because he lied somewhere actually. So thank God there are no subscribers to Brahma at least. Brahman is different actually. So between Vishnu and Shiva, people fight. And there are similar fights elsewhere also. So finally, for subscription, if one has to go, what is the point actually? One has to come out of all conditionings because they are wrong. If the conditions were right, then Shastra need not come and intervene. जो बंदा सही ठीक ठाक चल रहा है उसको क्यों affect कर रहा है? जो बंदा ठीक ठाक नहीं चल रहा है, he is having a wrong notion. इसकी वजह से it has to intervene sometime and then correct it. And the intervention does not come through advertisements. It comes from one's own intrinsic nature, tendency to go back to oneself. The beauty is, in Atma Vidya, it is a travel from oneself to oneself. That's the beauty actually. And at the end of it, when you see it, you will say, yeah, I had to only know myself actually. And I was available all the time. the separating factor was only ignorance, superimposed. And the superimposed word is such a big thing, no? Adhishthanam abhati tata brahmena. Because of that Brahm, not Brahman, that Brahma, because of that illusion, I gave credence to this entire body mind sense complex, and I took my nature to be whatever I am, all the tendencies, this, and I have the attendant problems. From there, you come to a level saying, oh God, oh, this is me only. So that's the deal which Shastra is delivering. So in this verse, basically it is saying, boss, when the substratum is mistaken, you have superimposed something on the substratum, and now you are giving validity to it and then worried about all the problems. But come on, what kind of, what can I say? So is what Shastra is saying helplessly. So with that, I stop this now, but I can entertain more questions. In case
Bhaskarji, you said one very beautiful thing about silence. The mourn you said just now. May I request you to elaborate more on that? That ultimately, when the realization is there of the truth, then that's silence. Otherwise, rest is all words. I have as many words, can leave around.
Correct. So, see, anything other than ourselves is noise. I think there's some nice thing in English, no? Of course, they say more the merrier. That's a different thing. It is like those opposite proverbs, no? So, what they call it? 2 is noise or something like that. They say, no? 1 is whatever and 2 is noise, something like that. Well, 2 is company, 3 is
2 is a company, 3 is a
2
crowd.
is a company, 3 is a crowd. Huh. So 2 is a company, is kind of, for mind that is okay. 2 is a problem in Advaita Vedanta. 2 is what is actually multiplying into many, actually. Many, 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 many. So 2, the second one is the Shabda. First one is silence. Second one is Shabda. So the moment second thing you have, it is noise. Avoid the noise. You are there already obtained. Quite peaceful. Quite peaceful. Forget that you are only peace. There is nothing else actually which is there. If you are not, the moment you entertain a second thing, you are in pieces. That's all. Thanks, Sonia, for building that. Good. I leave everyone with these thoughts today. Enjoy the day and we'll chant Purnamada. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Have a nice day, all of you.
Hari Om.
Hari Om, sir.